Right now, on to the point. Adding taxes to guns and ammo. The bill heads to the governor's desk.
Our problem is the behavior with the gun, and this legislature has no appetite to go after those people and to hold them accountable.
A Sac City football player dies after practice. What the college is doing next. And COVID booster shots are on the way, but will you have to pay for them?
Good evening. This is To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. Should California tax guns and ammunition? It's one of hundreds of questions Governor Newsom will have to answer after lawmakers get their bills past the finish line this week. And the proposal to tax manufacturers and retailers has been years in the making. The one that the legislature just passed would add an 11% tax. And as our Jeannie Nguyen explains, it is a controversial issue.
Guns are the leading cause of death of kids in the United States when it's not car accidents, it's not cancer, it's not disease, it is guns.
As a dad of 3, Democrat Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel was inspired to write Assembly Bill 28 that would tax gun dealers and manufacturers 11%.
This is not a tax on individual consumers. The gun firearms industry in the United States has been enjoying record profits.
Gabriel says the tax is expected to bring in $160 million annually for the state that would go towards programs to reduce the cycles of gun violence.
We think that it's fair to ask the gun industry to pay a very, very modest amount to support these life-saving programs, school safety measures, money that will go to our local law enforcement to remove guns from domestic abusers, convicted criminals.
Assembly Bill 28 is on its way to the governor's desk, but Republican Assemblymember Tom Lackey is urging the governor to veto this bill, believing it would hurt law-abiding gun owners.
It just makes it more difficult for them to acquire self-protection, right? I mean, and that's protected by the Second Amendment.
Assemblymember Lackey believes targeting the gun is the wrong answer to try to curb the violence and says the focus should be on consequences for bad behavior.
When there's very little risk, there's going to be more misconduct. That's not hard to figure out, but yet we don't get it here.
Adding that this is an attack to those that are following the rules.
I don't know why we keep attacking those who have proven to not be a threat.
But Assemblymember Gabriel believes this is the answer to saving lives and to be an example for the rest of the country.
We're number one in gun safety because of our strong gun safety laws. That's something we're all very proud of.
And Jeannie joins us now. Now, some arguments have been made that if this is imposed, this, tax is imposed, it'll fall on gun buyers. What did Assemblymember Gabriel have to say about that?
Alex, he told me he doesn't necessarily think that's true and has done some research with economists who believe this is a modest tax that will be paid by the manufacturers and retailers. And Alex, if Governor Newsom does pass this bill, it will go into effect next summer.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. And of course, we want to know what you think of this proposed tax. You can always text the team at 916-321-3310. You can also scan the QR code on your screen and join our text group. State lawmakers have until Thursday to get their bills passed and onto Governor Newsom's desk. Hundreds of them are still up in the air, but here's what else is moving forward. Yes, in God's backyard. That's the message of the Senate bill now on Governor Newsom's desk. If signed into law, it will allow higher education institutions and religious institutions like churches to use excess land for affordable housing and bypass some environmental rules. A ban on state-funded travel to states with anti-LGBTQ+ laws could be ending. Today, the Senate voted to end it, wanting to focus on an advertising campaign to bring in anti-discrimination messages to red states. The ban that started in 2017 started with about 4 states. Now it's grown to 26. That's more than half the country. A years-long battle between labor groups and fast food companies could be coming to an end. According to Cows Matters, a last-minute deal has been made to give workers a $20 minimum wage starting next April if businesses agree to stop their November 2024 ballot measure. The statewide minimum wage increases to $16 an hour on January 1st. And should striking workers get unemployment pay? The Senate is now expected to vote on a bill that would allow employees on strike to access state unemployment benefits. It comes as more than 11,000 screenwriters have been on strike since May. Hundreds of thousands of actors joined them in July. In other news tonight, Sacramento police shot and killed a gunman early this morning in downtown Commons parking garage, also known as Doco. Several Golden One Center employees tell us they could not get to their cars and go home after the Jonas Brothers concert last night. Police say the gunman was standing on top of the garage. They don't know if he was shooting at people, but They say he fired several rounds while in contact with officers, and employees are in shock.
He was on a good angle of to where like he could have pointed down and got a lot of people in just this vicinity. I mean, like this is a really, popular spot where people like to come and hang out and just stop and, just enjoy food and stuff. I'm just glad nobody got hurt.
The identity of the man has not been released. A Stockton officer is now on administrative leave after shooting and killing a man last night. They were responding to a call of a person trying to kick in a door and climb into a building on Fremont Street. Police say the 34-year-old man flashed what appeared to be a rifle, took off running, ignored commands, and showed the weapon again. And 5 former Memphis police officers are now facing federal charges for deprivation of rights in connection with the death of Sacramento native Tyree Nichols. Nichols died 3 days after a violent confrontation with police following a traffic stop. His family spoke following the announcement today.
Ty, he was just a free spirit, and he really should be here today. Tyree shouldn't be gone. He should be here today. And because of those 5 police officers, he's not.
The charges were brought by a federal grand jury. The officers also face state felony charges, including second-degree murder. And tonight, friends and family are mourning the loss of a Sacramento City College football player. Devin Truby shares his story tonight.
Yeah, Alex, we're here at Hughes Stadium where the memorial was held last night for teammates and family. If you take a look, you can still see the candles left behind, spelling out Justin's initials. We talked with friends, family, and coaches throughout multiple communities, and the overwhelming message is one of shock. From just looking at 19-year-old Justin McAllister standing at 6'7", weighing in over 200 pounds, you might be intimidated.
When you hear that he was a gentle giant, he truly was. An infectious smile touched everybody's heart. He cared about his friends. He cared about the brotherhood that we create down at Delta for football. It's been an amazing, it's just so sad the way things have happened right now.
For Delta High School football coach Tim Rapp, he first met McAllister as his 6th grade teacher, later as his coach. He just saw Justin play a week and a half ago, but he saw Justin Friday night supporting his younger brother, who currently plays at Delta High School as the starting quarterback.
I saw one of the other players say, "Hey, I gotta take his brother home." They got a call or a text that Gavin said his brother was being rushed to the emergency.
A few hours later, Rapp got a phone call from Justin's mom to come to the hospital to see him one last time.
The outpouring of support last night was absolutely amazing. I'm at a hospital emergency room where there must have been 40 to 50 people in the hallway visiting, hugging, crying, supporting, going in and being with Justin and the dad and the brother. And
the entire Delta High School community devastated. Principal Craig Cornelson says multiple students were out Tuesday.
He represented the best of us. He was a good person. He was a kind person.
We spoke with the head coach at Western Oregon University, where Justin first played college football. They only heard about the incident earlier today and had an extensive team meeting so they could all come together. Delta High School also tells us that they're creating commemorative stickers for the players to wear on their helmets throughout the season. And we spoke to Justin's father today that said the family's just too emotional to talk right now. But his mother had a message for all the teams last night at the memorial to go out there and win this week for Justin. And that's exactly what they're all going to try to do. Alex.
Thank you, Devin. Still ahead on To the Point, the urgent search underway for survivors in Morocco and the help on the way.
We're still tracking a few isolated thunderstorms in the Sierra. What's ahead for the rest of the work week as we dig into some warmer weather?
And COVID booster shots are on the way just in time for the holiday season.
By the middle of the winter, December, January, I would not be surprised if we see a slight increase in cases again.
And people are asking, do you have to pay for them? Welcome back. New satellite photos show the damage done in Libya. A storm moved through the region, causing dams to burst. These are before and after images. Flooding has killed thousands of people. It's believed at least 10,000 people are missing. And search and rescue efforts continue in Morocco after a 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook the region Friday night. The death toll is near 3,000. The local Moroccan community is hoping for a miracle, telling us that right after the quake that they are afraid to pick up their phones.
Every time I see an international number from Morocco, I don't want to answer. I'm afraid to answer the phone because I don't want to hear bad news, you know. It's very bad. Yep. Just crossing our fingers.
Well-known West Sacramento structural engineer Kit Miyamoto tells us that he is heading to Morocco. He fears the death toll will surpass 5,000 people. And Monica, Kit will be on the ground helping with recovery, but he's also bringing back learning lessons for California in case of our next big earthquake.
Yeah, always something that's in the back of our minds, right?
Yeah.
Turning to our weather, we're going to get to some of those warming conditions that we'll be tracking right through the middle and end of our work week. Currently, we have that nice onshore flow going from that low to the north of us, and that will keep at least the temperatures down for tonight into early tomorrow morning. Highs for today right around 90 throughout the valley, 70s along the coast, 80s for the foothills, and 70s for the Sierra. Hour by hour forecast for the rest of this evening. Forecast low at 59 degrees. Will quickly drop into the 70s after sunset, which is at 7:19. Sunrise tomorrow 6:45. Most of our evening spent in the 60s, but again, dropping into the upper 50s by early tomorrow. Now we have a little bit of heat building in the forecast, a north wind as well as lower humidity, and so a red flag warning going into effect just north of the border into Oregon. That starts up on Thursday with a slightly elevated fire danger for the northern part of the Sacramento Valley as that low moves off to the east, high pressure building in behind, and it's in between those two weather systems that we get that lowering humidity. It'll be just for a short period of time, and then it's all about that high pressure ridge for the end of the work week, the building heat as well. A little low developing off the coast. That's going to bring down those temperatures not only for the weekend, but into early next week as well. Highs in the 70s tomorrow for the Sierra with 80s and 90s down low. Across the coast, we've got highs in the 70s. Inland areas warming to highs in the 90s after morning lows in the 50s. It's going to be a warmer forecast for the middle and end of the work week. 70s across the board for the mountains, 80s for the foothills, and 60s to near 70 along the coast with a mix of sun and clouds. Our 10-day forecast, we've got a warm end of the work week with highs in the 90s, and then next week, a whole lot of 80s heading our way.
Good news there, Monica. All right, next on To The Point, when you can get the new COVID booster shot and will you have to pay for it? Plus new information, MGM's casino slot machines go offline. Welcome back. There could be another impeachment effort on the way in Washington, D.C. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced today to start an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden, pushing forward without wanting the full House of Representatives to vote. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's directing some House Republican leaders to open an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. It's an effort traditionally done by a full House vote, though a vote is not required.
This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public.
For months, House Republicans have been searching for evidence of any ties linking President Biden to his son's business dealings. So far, they have not been able to find hard evidence of any wrongdoing by the president. McCarthy has signaled he might launch a Biden impeachment inquiry for weeks, in part to appease hardliners in the GOP. They only need one Republican member to begin proceedings to remove him as Speaker. Experts say it's no coincidence that one of those hardliners threatened McCarthy with removal today.
Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role.
But not all Republicans agree with the impeachment inquiry. Several GOP politicians claim there simply isn't enough evidence for impeachment. Presidential candidate and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is concerned about cheapening impeachment.
I criticized Democrats for doing that over the Ukraine issue a number of years ago on impeachment, and I don't want my party to fall a victim to the same thing.
A White House spokesperson says today's announcement is, quote, extreme politics at its worst. All of this is happening as the House faces a fast approaching September 30th deadline to avert a government shutdown. And McCarthy gave no timeline for launching an impeachment inquiry into the president. This is an inquiry, and that is not the same as voting to impeach the president.
And rules could be changing for Sacramento City Council meetings. Several callers keep making racial slurs. Many are aimed at Black and Jewish members of the community, including Mayor Darrell Steinberg. Now, one council member wants to remove public Zoom comment.
In favor of walking away from Zoom and really give the platform to individuals that want to come and that have real major concerns about our city, and we can really spend time and resolving those rather than spending hours of just listening to phone calls or Zoom calls that have no place in our forum.
Two other council members echo that suggestion, but some community members want to keep Zoom going due to COVID-19 concerns and also the access that it provides for people with disabilities. A new Apple iPhone was announced today. This is the new lineup of the iPhone 15s. They promise better cameras, faster processors, a new charging system, and they will also have a USB-C charger. And there's a price hike for the fanciest model. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max will go for $1,200, but it could be cheaper through your phone company.
Consumers need to really be aware of going to their Verizon's, AT&T's, T-Mobile's, and being able to turn in an old phone and get at least $1,000 up to maybe $1,200 discount, so that the new iPhone is going to be marginal in the context of a cost.
All the new models will be available in stores on September 22nd, with pre-orders beginning this Friday. All right, get ready to pay more for State College. The CSU system is standing by their proposal to raise tuition. They are voting on it this week, and if it passes, it means that students will pay an extra $342 for tuition. It would be added starting in the fall of next year. The system is trying to help close a $1.5 billion funding gap. The increase would be limited to 5 consecutive years. And new tonight, Butte County says a new mobile app could help customers take over more control of their security of their EBT card, something we've really been talking a lot about. And this is part of an effort to prevent food and cash aid benefits from being stolen electronically by skimmers. So the EBT Edge app is on track to launch in California by the end of the year. We are working to get more answers about the app from the Department of Social Services and hope to have more information on that for you soon. And new information about a cyber attack at MGM casinos. The company announced the outage today affected all 9 of its resorts, including the Aria, where dozens of slot machines were still out of order on Monday afternoon. MGM Casino says that they have notified law enforcement. MGM faced another cyber attack back in 2017. As the summer COVID surge continues, there is some hope on the way. Updated COVID-19 boosters will be available by the end of the week. The CDC just signed off on the vaccine, recommending it for everyone 6 months and older. The Food and Drug Administration authorized and approved the new vaccine yesterday. Doctors expect another COVID surge later this year.
Would not be surprised if we see a slight increase in cases again, which is why it's important for people to get the new COVID-19 vaccine as well as their flu shot and RSV immunizations if they're eligible.
The updated boosters made by Pfizer and Moderna have been developed to target variants that are currently spreading, most commonly the Omicron subvariants.
On Monday, the Food and Drug Administration approved and authorized the updated mRNA COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use. As people prepare for the new vaccine, many are asking if they're going to have to pay for protection against COVID this time around. So let's verify. Can you get the new COVID-19 vaccine for free? Our sources are the Food and Drug Administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and Pfizer. The CDC and Pfizer say COVID-19 vaccines will remain free for most Americans through their health insurance plans. Now, if you don't have insurance, there are also free options. In July, the CDC announced the Bridge Access Program for COVID-19 vaccines, a program that will ensure millions of uninsured and underinsured American adults can get the vaccine for free through the end of 2024. Another option is the Vaccines for Children program, a federally funded program that provides vaccines at no cost to children who might not otherwise be vaccinated because of an inability to pay. So we can verify, yes, you can get the updated COVID-19 vaccine for free. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till.
Next on To the Point, your thoughts on a proposed gun and ammo tax. Welcome back. At the top of the show, we asked you to weigh in on a proposed gun and ammunition tax. Many of you are already weighing in. One viewer said what they are doing is taking away the law-abiding citizens' ability to protect their lives and properties. Another viewer saying that people will just go out of state to buy their guns. So, of course, let us know what you think about this. And if you missed the story, you can stream us on the ABC 10 Plus app, and you can also rewatch a lot of our stories. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.